How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? It's been a while, but here's the Jeep as she sits right now. As you can see, she's in the garage, which is not something that happens very often. The reason it's in the garage is because I wanted to show you a couple things that have happened recently. Not too long ago, I actually had the opportunity to upgrade to the Iron Rock Off-Road front long arm kit. The Jeep is now sitting, it jumped from 3 inches to 4.5 inches. And the reason I wanted to bring you out here today is to talk about these. Now, these are the Core 4x4 adjustable short arms that I've run for the last probably 3 years, 2.5 years, something like that. Basically, that very first trip I took to Moab, I came home and I had a lot of steering play, and I started going through the paces of diagnosing that steering play. And it turns out the steering wasn't actually what was moving, it was the entire axle. So as you can guess, I kind of decided you need to fix some things quick, fast, and in a hurry. Started doing some research. I could have just gone with another set of stock control arms, but I decided not to. I always have the philosophy that if you're going to change something else out, change something major out, you might as well upgrade it if you can. So the first set that I got were the Core adjustable uppers. These are equivalent to the Tier 1 uppers that they sell now. At the time that I bought these, they didn't actually offer a tier section. They just had a storefront on eBay at the time. And probably 6 months later or so, the lowers came, and I installed those. So I want to just kind of share some insights as to how they've fared over the years, and some issues and other things, most of which are actually common to about 90% of all adjustable control arms. And so I guess maybe I'll start there. The biggest problem I have with adjustable control arms, especially after using, not necessarily this pair, but having this set and seeing other sets on the market, is actually the jam nut setup. Now they're not actually, you can see that it's actually pretty solid right now, but one of these, I don't remember which one, is actually kind of loose. It might be this guy, and they get loose a lot. Even when when I set these, I set them with red thread locker, which obviously you're not supposed to be able to unset without some sort of torch or something of that sort. And they still manage to get loose over time. So there's that. Otherwise, I have absolutely no real major issues with these. I guess there is that too. This was the passenger side upper, and you can see here where the paint's been stripped off of it. It was actually contacting the unibody at that point, and there is also a point like that on the other side. That is kind of an issue. Actually, there's one other issue that I want to bring up, and that is hardware. At the time that I bought these, Core did not offer hardware for them. You were supposed to just use the stock hardware and call it a day. The problem is these shackles are so large that the stock hardware does not fit over them. Period. You have like two rotations in, and then it's tight. So you have no real room to thread the bolt onto the nut onto the bolt. So that's kind of a major issue if you ask me. Now later on they did start offering hardware, as you can see. This is actually the hardware I got from Core. They did start offering hardware as an optional accessory. This should not be optional. This should come with it, period, if you ask me. When it's that much of a mission-critical thing, that shouldn't be optional. That should be included in the price, period, no questions asked. Now, another thing that I've noticed over the years, because I've seen plenty of other people get this product, or the equivalent of it now, is that the bushing size has changed, and included in the lower control arm bushing kit is a set of spacers. I have no problem with this. In fact, the IRO set that I just put on has spacers in the lowers as well. Not that big of a deal. Most kits use these now. That's also part of that hardware kit. Once again, that should not be optional. That should come with it, period. That's the only really thing that really irks me about the way these are set up. Well, you want the hardware kit, you have to pay an additional fee. Just include that fee in the price and give us the damn hardware kit. That's how I see it. Otherwise, one thing, I will say one really good thing about Core, their customer service is great. You have a question, you can ask them, shoot them an email, call them, and they get right back to you. And their warranty is phenomenal because basically their warranty is if it breaks, we replace it, no questions asked. So that's pretty cool. So I guess if I'm making this quick, only points that I can really put out is if you're buying Core control arms, get the hardware kit. Just include that in the price. In the future Core, if you guys are watching this, just include that in the price. It's not really a great selling point when you have to add the hardware in on there, when literally every other control arm set on the market includes that in the price. I mean, I don't understand the connection there. The correlation with it being a good value. I'm not saying that these are not a good value, because these are a phenomenal value when you compare them to, say, just look at some of the other adjustable short arms that are on the market. There's kind of a huge price gap. These guys are like $50 to $100 cheaper than the next best set, and the quality is just as good, if not better. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I am still running the Core short arms on the back. They don't offer an A-arm, at least as of this current recording. But the rear control arms are holding out pretty great, and I have no complaints. So, that's my buyer thing. If you want to actually buy a set of Core control arms, couple of tips: go straight through their site. Now that they actually have a site, that's pretty awesome. Number 2 is buy the damn hardware set. You're going to save yourself a lot of headaches in the future. Other than that, it gets 2 thumbs up, but I have 1 thumb holding the camera, well, 1 hand holding the camera, so, bam, bam. That's it for right now. Pretty soon we'll have a review of these long arms coming up, once I actually get a chance to get them out on the dirt. Until then, I do have a couple of other items that I'm currently putting through their paces so that I can tell you what I think of them as well. Until then, we'll talk to you later. Have a great one, and happy trails.